All right. Arsenal is taking on Southampton, and they really went ahead, obviously, prepare for this game of football. And I'm going to be bringing you the updates on how Arsenal went ahead to prepare for the side of Southampton and what Mikel Arteta said about this tie of Southampton. Remember, it's the last game that Arsenal is playing before the players go to the international break. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash like button, comment, and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. And it's a Saturday, 5th of October, and obviously the early kickstart is Liverpool. Liverpool is hosting which team? You get? I think Leicester City is entertaining Liverpool at their stadium. So a lot is really going to be happening that side. And let's obviously see how things are really going to pan out. Remember, we are powered by Mono Gadgets. Mono Gadgets are dealers in brand new phones and brand new laptops, right? So them being dealers in brand new phones and brand new laptops, they also deal into used phones and used laptops from the United Kingdom. So go ahead and obviously call them on +256 70 99 88 665. That is Mono Gadgets for you, and the rest will be history in there. So as it stands, that's how things are really panning out. You can as well follow them on TikTok. Go to your search bar on TikTok, search for Mono Gadgets, and you'll thank me later. Now, Arteta came out and really said the following, about the game of Southampton. Remember, the last time they played Southampton, it ended 3-3 at the Emirates. He said on how big the game against Southampton is. He said, "We know the significance and difficulty of this match. Last week, the tough schedule that we have was proven, and any opponent can cause you problems. When you think the game is under control, it can get out of your hands immediately. So it was probably a good thing to happen the way it ended up. We know the quality of Southampton, and in my opinion, they are a team who are extremely well coached. They have a very clear philosophy, and they've been very unlucky not to have many more points, because there were moments in the games when they were far better than the opponent, and in some moments the results got away from them. It will be very, very tough." Now, I understand from the point where this is being spoken, Southampton has gone ahead to win 90% of the possession. So has gone ahead to really win high possession in 90% of the 6 games they've gone ahead to play. I think they are a side that has gone ahead, obviously come up and obviously dominate the game of football, but they don't kill off their chances, and that's what Mikel Arteta is really talking about, that it's really going to make him a tough opponent. But for me, I differ a little bit, because these are teams that Arteta wants to play. He wants to play teams, or he wants to play against teams that are really going to open up, especially the Emirates. You won't really survive, and Arsenal will bring its high press. Arsenal will obviously bring its quick counter-attacking game, quick passing, and obviously flooding lots of chances into the opponent's area. But all I know about Southampton, when you attack it, you obviously are going to score goals against it. I remember when they were playing against Manchester United, they really had some good 25 minutes. I think there were 30 minutes. And when they missed a penalty and Onana went ahead to save it, you know what happened next. United went ahead, obviously scored 3 goals 2 minutes after they went ahead, obviously missed to really complete or bury that penalty into the back of the net. That is Southampton for you. So all I know is it's really going to be a very interesting game because of the style of play of the manager of Southampton. And Mikel Arteta had something to say about that style of play for the manager of Southampton, known as Russell Martin, sticking to his style of play. And I like managers like these. You sack him, all he loses on his style of play. Like, he won't come out and obviously blame anyone for him changing in what he believes in. And that applies at Southampton. But when you go to big teams like us, even Mikel Arteta, you see to it that this time he has gone ahead to obviously be shifting from his style of play. When he's playing a little bit of a harder opponent, he'll sit back, defend, and hit you on the break. Now, when he's playing teams like Leicester City, he'll play on the front foot. But when he's playing teams like Aston Villa, Tottenham Hotspur, Man City, he plays on the back foot, right? So, he said, I love that kind of behavior. In the end, you have to do what you feel. He's proven that his philosophy is extremely successful. What he did with Swansea, what he did with Southampton, and last year they were 25 games unbeaten. It was a joy to watch the team play. The same with Swansea, and from what I've seen, they deserve much more than what they have already. But this is the Premier League, and the small details are so important to get the results. And I really like managers like this guy, Russell Martin, because they'll build their game, they'll build their game, you get? And when they build it, it will be the same in every game. And they won't shift, goalpost in their style of play. But Arteta has told him that only happens at Southampton. And in the Premier League, it's all about small margins. And however much you obviously have a huge line share of the possession and you end up really not killing off the game, then people will be like, you have a very good philosophy, but you're not killing off games. And I remember that very well. It happened to one of the managers that I really never wanted to see him quit the club of Manchester United. It was Louis van Gaal. If you remember very well, Louis van Gaal, he came in through and really introduced a tiki-taka philosophy at the club of Manchester United, but he was sacked. Yet I thought that in his third phase, he was really going to become one of the best managers at Manchester United and would have gone to get a grip of his team. Then Arteta, on whether Russell Martin needs to adapt his style, he said every manager has a choice to do that. What I can tell you is their results. It's proven are there. It's a very clear identity and very clear way of really playing and very successful. So it's up to the manager. What I can say, watching and analyzing it, is that they are really good and he's really good. Obviously, he's a very good manager and he's really one of those managers that is really upcoming, and when he really gets a team that really has some good resources, I tell you, it is really gonna be hard, it will be very, very hard for any side obviously coming through and really not face the wrath of this manager, provided he gets quality players. In that system, if he gets quality players, I tell you, he can really become more deadly. And my question is, why hasn't Southampton gone ahead obviously getting some players? I think in the Premier League, I think they can only allow you to have, is it 2 players on loan, right? So I think he needs to obviously do a better recruitment, because teams like Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool, they really have some good players in the academy, and it's always good to tell those teams that get us that player on a very limited fee, but when we sell him, you have like 60% of the money that you've gone ahead to sell that person for. So for me, I'm really very, very sorry about that. I'm really very, very observant about this, and I'm really waiting to see how that game of football is really going to go. Now let's get to see how Arsenal went ahead, obviously coming through to prepare for the side of Southampton. Remember, Arsenal played on Wednesday, meaning that they had to recover, and they only trained on Friday, that is yesterday. And this is how everything really went ahead to happen at the Sober Reality Training Center. That is Gabriel Jesus and William Saliba. And for Gabriel Jesus, he needs to fight to get into the team of Arsenal. He needs to obviously start scoring goals. For a ball to cross a goal line, it doesn't even take a second. What Jesus has to do is simple. Go out and really do the needful. And what's the needful? Go and score goals. 10 minutes, use them to score goals like he did in the game of Leicester City. I really loved the energy he brought on. And in those minutes that he was given, he was responsible for the 4th goal that Arsenal went ahead to score through Kai Havertz. You understand? So, if he really shows that I'm really sharp, I tell you, he's really going to be one of the players that Arteta will think about. Then, Jorginho obviously training, and he was still in the gym. Then Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, and Raheem Sterling. All those are the players that you look at and really understand how good they are. This is Bukayo Saka, all smiles, as he really recharges his batteries for Southampton. That is Raheem Sterling, one of those players that we might see get his start in the Premier League for Arsenal today. I know the manager might be looking to obviously get him on, because in the game of PSG he never played any minutes. Gabriel Magalhaes coming up to obviously put in a shift, and Jesus in the gym doing the needful. This is Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli, the Brazilian duo. All of them are really Gabriels, and Sterling looking on. Then Thomas Partey coming in through, obviously do some jumps in the gym, and this is Saka Bukayo doing the needful. This is Lewis Kelly and Bukayo Saka, and by the way, they all look up to him, because even Saka was like Lewis Kelly. You know, Lewis Kelly is a player from the academy, and look at how Saka is really doing the needful in front of him. And for Lewis Kelly, I see him as a Bukayo Saka, and more of a Bukayo Saka, because for Lewis Kelly, is really more versatile than Bukayo Saka. Saka first came in through at Arsenal to play, and he was played as a left back, then a left forward, you understand. Then after him being played as a left forward, you know what had to happen? He was really drifted to play as a right forward, where he is really excelling right now. But for Lewis Kelly, he has shown us that he can play as a left back, he can play in the midfield, he can play as a right forward, he can play as a left forward. So he's more versatile, and I believe that him and Nwaneri, this season is really going to be important for them, because for Lewis Kelly, he has already going to get in his debut and is getting in minutes. For Nwaneri, he got his debut in 2022, and this season he's really coming in through to really kill off games. Remember, in the game of Leicester City, the manager got him on the field of play and left Gabriel Jesus in there. And with these weeks remaining for Odegaard to return, I tell you, it's really going to be very important to obviously see to it that Nwaneri obviously fits with the team. This is Kai Havertz. Now we get to the green grass. This is Kivio, Saka, and Rice, and is him Mikel Arteta also into the mix. Then we are also having Bukayo Saka, Raheem Sterling, and Kai Havertz really watching on. Raya and Gabriel Magalhaes doing what they know best. Raya, obviously, you see some bandage on his knee, meaning that that's the area that really went ahead to obviously get injured, and he's really trying to do the needful. And this is Nwaneri, a player that is the talk about town. If you know, you know. A player that has gone ahead to impress and pass the eye test of very many people. Even we who really don't support Arsenal believe in Nwaneri as one of those players that is really going to come in through and really put in the required shift altogether. Then this is William Saliba, right, looking on, and Mikel Arteta, the manager, also looking on and obviously feeling happy to say that he might really end up in the Premier League with like this match day 7, he might end it up with how many points? With 17, and obviously see how things are really going to be panning out. And by the way, Arsenal will be like, if at all Liverpool can really draw at Crystal Palace, because no team finds Selhurst Park really easy, and if at all they can really find themselves losing there, you know what it's really going to be like. Then Nwaneri obviously running, and he's really impressing very many people into the mix. Then obviously Nwaneri, as you see him there, doing a very beautiful touch, very talented, very skilled player, and his talent is really undoubted. And this is Kai Havertz watching on, and this is Mikel Merino, one of those players that might surprisingly be into the starting 11 for the club of Arsenal, but you all know to it that he'll get off the bench and come on to play at Arsenal and really reinforce that midfield. And I think the earlier Arsenal kills off the game, the earlier he's really going to be brought on to obviously reinforce into that midfield. Then Mikel Merino, you see him obviously doing a very nice touch and really thinking on what to do with the ball next. This is Jesus Gabriel, obviously putting in the energy to prove the manager that I can really be that player that people don't think I am. And I'm going to see very many people coming out and really slating the player, and I really hold this guy in high regard, but I've always told you that his problem is he can't keep himself fit. You know, last season every time he was really in high form, it was not to hit that he really got an injury, and that's why the manager cannot trust him, because even if he gives him minutes and really gets onto the field of play, he is really not going to be that kind of player. You understand? Because as he picks up form, he really gets injured. And that is him, Jesus, obviously putting in a very huge shift during the training session at the Emirates. And this is, I think, is it Martinelli going in for Raheem Sterling in training, and Raheem Sterling was like, "What are you doing, my mate?" You get? And this is Jorginho and Mikel Merino obviously doing the needful in training. And you know, Jorginho is really going to be a coach. You know that very well. And he was like taking on the coaching obligations during the training session. And I think that's why Mikel Arteta really kept him here, because he might see something in him to obviously be his assistant coach, like what Pep Guardiola saw in Mikel Arteta when I was still at Arsenal, and felt like I could go more years playing football. And then the manager was like, "Please, Arteta, can you please come and join me at the side of Man City?" So we wait and see how that pans out. Now, that's the complete Arsenal charge for the game of Southampton, the Saints, and it's really going to be playing at, is it 17 hours? Yeah. So I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below, what Arteta is going to talk about and how he thinks about this beautiful game of football. Rokani David is my name, and I'm out. First video of the day, and more is coming. Bye-bye.